Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about matching and cross-referencing, which is something very useful in the Excel environment. It's something recurrent, I would say. It's always there and you're going to use it. At some point you're going to use it a lot. Also depending on what kind of job you do and all of that, it could be really useful for your personal career as well. So it could be beneficial, okay? You may or may not have heard of something called VLOOKUP, which is a function in Excel. We're not going to use it today, but it's kind of known out there. If you never heard of it, don't worry. As I said, we are not going to use it, so you don't need to learn it really. It's a very specific function, as I said, a specific formula in Excel, and is valid and is useful for some cases, some kind of spreadsheets where we got a certain order of columns and a certain set of conditions. Actually, it's not always going to be the best option, the best formula, the best function to use for every situation where we need to do cross-referencing. Okay, in this video I'm going to try to show you something more universal. You don't need to change order of the columns. You may be familiar with this problem, or the errors, or the difficulties when something disappears, or for some reason my formula stopped working. I don't know why. All of that, we don't need to worry because we're going to find a way to avoid all of that. Even if you're familiar with VLOOKUP, I'm sure you came across sometime the situation where it's not loading, that is slowing down your computer for some reason. Today, we're going to try to mitigate all of those problems. Okay? So we're going to VLOOKUP things without using VLOOKUP. Okay? Let's do it. Right. So let's say I've got the spreadsheet with my customer references, names, cities, countries, invoices, dates, whatever the data I've got. I normally going to have hundreds and thousands and a lot of entries. In this case, for this example, as you can see, I've got a very limited short list of data. It's just for the example, okay? It's not always going to be that obvious to see things. So let's say for whatever the reason, I want to find some information about this customer, Andy Floyd, okay? I'm going to type that name here, Floyd. And I'm going to say, okay, I want to know how much money is owing us, or what are the dates, the last time they paid, or the city. Let's keep things simple. The city, what is the corresponding city? So for that, I'm going to use a formula, a function in Excel, which is going to be index match. Actually, it's a combination of two formulas, which they work individually, that they are useful individually. But today we're going to use them as a team, let's say, okay? They're going to work together for us. So I'm going to put equal, and this is the syntax, equals index, open brackets, and I'm going to choose the result first, okay? The result comes first. Remember that, especially if you are familiar with VLOOKUP, it comes in the other way around. So first, I need to choose the column or the range where the result is going to be contained. So in my case, I'm after the city. For this specific person, I'm after the city. So I'm going to choose column C, or I can just choose the range in particular, okay? There's no difference. Comma, match, like that, open brackets, and then what is the value? This one, right? Is undeployed, we said. I can click on that, or I can put in quotes the actual name. I can type it here. Lloyd, okay? I'm using up here in the formula bar, okay? Every time, my suggestion is every time you need to type or edit a formula, use the formula bar. Okay, so I got match, and I got the specific value I want to match something again, comma, where that value is contained and deployed. Well, it's going to be in the column customer name. Okay, so I'm going to select that range as well, and then comma, and I'm going to put 0. Don't ask me why, it doesn't matter, it's not important today. Just put comma 0, that's the syntax. And then close brackets, and then close brackets again. Okay, so the structure is like that: index, open brackets, range or column, where the destination, where the result is, comma, match, open brackets, value, where I want to match, and then where that value is contained, and then comma 0. Doesn't matter, don't worry about that comma 0, just type it. It is important you put it there. It is not important why is there. At this point now, at least, okay? Hit enter, and then, oh, magic. So I got Andy Floyd in Glasgow. Is that correct? Andy Floyd, Glasgow. Beautiful. Now, what happens if I want to do it in the other way around? I want to know the name given the city. So I'm going to change it here. I'm going to put Glasgow. I'm going to delete this. So I want to know now what is the name in this list corresponding to this city. If you are familiar with VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP or XLOOKUP or whatever the cousin is, right now you're probably thinking, oh, it's not going to work. We need to change the column. Well, that is the beauty of index match, because it's going to work in every situation. So I'm going to put index equals index, open brackets, and I put the result first, remember? The result. So I'm going to put, in this case, I'm going to put the column, entire column. I'm after the name this time, yeah? So, comma, and then match. What is the value I'm going to match? This one, Glasgow. I can type it, as you know. I can type it. Comma. Where that Glasgow value is contained in here, in the whole column C, in this case. And then comma, and then 0. Don't ask me why, it doesn't matter, it's not important today. Close bracket, hit enter, and deploy. You see? So it works in any direction. It works in both directions. Okay? Now, second thing I want to show you is cross-referencing. Maybe I want to add an extra column here with some extra information I don't have in this report. So I prepare in this other sheet, in the same Excel file, I've got a second sheet with customer names and also extra information, company name and secondary contacts. These two columns don't exist in this main report I got, and that in real life is really, really common. Sometimes you need different sources of data to build your reports. And the only thing I need is one thing to be in common to be able to do the match. So in this case, I've got the customer name here and the customer name here as well. So I've got my thing in common. So knowing that common thing, I can say, okay, give me, please, I want to know the company name or the secondary contact for Mary Jules. So what is the equivalent? And put it here in an extra column. So I got everything in a master report in here. Okay. First thing I want, or I may think about, is copy and paste. Can I do this? Got secondary contact, Control C, secondary contact, Control V. Copy and paste. Done. Don't do that because most probably it's gonna fail. Well, the chances are they're going to be in different order. In this case, as I said at the beginning, we got a very limited list. Now, there's a very limited number of entries. If I've got hundreds or I've got thousands, it's going to be kind of impossible to know if this one comes after that one and after that one and after that one, whatever. It's completely impossible. In this case, I can see right away it's exactly the same order. but it's not necessarily the case. So instead of me copying and paste without knowing if it's going to correspond to the correct line, what I need to do is cross-reference it. So I'm going to put in here, because that's where I'm going to build my new column, I'm going to put equals index, and what is the result I want to bring here? The result is going to be secondary contact. So I want to select that column and then comma match. What is the match I want to make? What is that thing in common? It's the customer name, right? So I need to go where I'm writing my formula. That's where I need to do it. And then click on the first one. Customer name, comma, where that customer name is contained in the matching spreadsheet, in this formula, in this column. Comma 0, close, hit enter. And I got the first one. So apparently the secondary contact for Robert Robertson is Fiona, and this Fiona. So it's working. Click in here, double click in there, and it extends automatically the whole column for me. So that's cross-referencing for you, is adding an extra column, matching a specific value. Don't forget about the syntax, is index, range of the result, match, a specific value to match, range of that value, and then comma 0. Okay. There's a few elements I understand just to memorize or to have in front of you as a model, as a reference, but you're going to save a lot of time and effort if you do it this way. Okay. So I hope it works. I hope it's easy for you at some point and you are familiar with it at some point and on top of it. And let me know how it goes, if you can make it work. Send me any questions, any comments. I'm happy to help you if you need me. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you.